just vegetables and fruits. And I was like, oh, I'm good. What? Give up curry chicken and give up, frosted flakes and stuff that I really loved. It was just like, that's not, when I'm 40, that's when I'm going to do it.
So that was in 2014.
Decided that at the beginning of July, I would use the full month and fully commit to a fruitarian diet. So that's basically anything with seeds, fruit, some veggies, and a few nuts and seeds. I said I would do it. And 17 days in, I cannot believe how much this journey is not so much about food, but about what I'm calling a revolution of one. This shit feels hella radical.
The year after that, I was still on a significant high from that raw food party. And I did this series on living with more plants. Now I live with plants in a different type of way. And now, 9 years later, here I am again, following my curiosity, realizing that one more time, I'm going to do a month-long raw food party. This is the video the night before. I did not plan on doing the video now. I wanted to do it further in. This one was day 17. But I took a shower and I was going to like wash my face, brush my teeth, all that stuff. And I was like, yo, nah, put it out there, if only even just for myself to be able to look back at this the night before I start and say, we doing this. I'm so inspired by some of the other people who are doing raw food feasting right now and just talking about the benefits of it. And it was just so good to watch this video. I'm going to let the whole video play after I talk for a few minutes so you can see where I was in 2014 and so that I can also have sort of like a succinct place where I have me now and me all the way back then talking about this journey. The reason that I'm doing it this time is because my body is calling for it. 2 years ago, I did two significant things in support of my healing journey. 2 years before that, I did a really significant thing. If you want to hear about either of those, let me know. But now I'm finding myself at a closing point in my life in terms of my 8-year laser focus on unschooling life, which I even mentioned in this video.
Ended up significantly, even in my parenting, we started unschooling our daughters. And
I'm finding that we're not stopping unschooling, but I ended up becoming an unschooling organizer, traveling and speaking and writing and connecting, gathering around this unschooling life. And now, 8 years in, my children are at a different point, and we're just not on the same path. We're not focusing on the same things. And it would not be authentic. It wouldn't be me if I tried to stay focused on unschooling in the ways that people tend to need from me. If I stayed there, that wouldn't be authentic to where I am now, because I'm on a different journey, and I talk about that here. But the closing out of this journey feels sacred. It feels important. And when I think about things that are sacred and important and bring me to a level of mindfulness that almost nothing else that I'm aware of can, focusing on eating sun-kissed foods exclusively for an extended period of time, nothing else does that. Fasting is another thing that is close, but it's not at the same level because this is day after day after day after day. I'm doing it for 25 days this time. This last one was 31 days, but because I'm traveling, I want to have a significant amount of space. I want to have at least 10 full days after I finish this particular way of eating before I start traveling. And I don't know, maybe I'll look back later and be like, girl, that was an excuse, but that's where I am right now. So I'm doing this because my body, my spirit is calling for it. I'm feeling a different call in, a different level of call in to be in a simpler relationship with my body. And I'm going to honor that. Since I had the surgeries, the 2 surgeries, I haven't had fucking 10-day periods. I'm not tired all the time. I'm not having cramps that, let's not even go there. So living for many years with severe endometriosis and fibroid tumors, huge ones that required 2 different types of surgeries to remove everything. Being on the other side of the level of consistent pain and fatigue and fear and anxiety that endometriosis and repeated fibroid tumors caused for me, being on the other side of that, have such an awareness, not a fear, not an anxiety, thankfully, but just an awareness and ability to listen to my body that I just haven't had in a long time. And right now, my body is calling for this level of simplicity and this level of mindfulness in how I'm moving, how I'm eating, like all of that. So that's what I'm going to do. And I just wanted to chronicle that here. I'm really curious about it. I'm not going to be doing like a video every day. I'll probably do maybe 5 or so videos over the course of the 25 days. And I'll certainly be writing about it and writing from that space more than writing about it. I'll be writing from that space on my newsletter. Make sure you check it out because it is a migration of sorts. I feel myself moving out of something and not just moving out of my unschooling organizer role, but just moving in different ways. I cut my hair. I did that yesterday. It was just another thing that felt like I just wanted to release some things as I stepped into some new things. That's very much the theme. I'm definitely on a migration path. And so this is part of it. I will be eating from March 10th to June 1st. No, not June. Oh my God, April. Just eating sun-kissed foods, fruit, some nuts, some veggies. If I don't got to cook it, I'm going to eat it. And I've done it before. It was amazing. And I'm also starting over fresh from this space. That was 9 years ago. So this me now, 45-year-old me, will see what we see. Here we go.
So 17 days into this raw vegan journey, fruitarian to be exact, I am so full of emotions, which is not what I expected from the journey. I started the journey because I felt like I was putting the highest version of myself out of my reach in a lot of ways of my life, or a lot of ways in my life. I felt like I was settling in some areas because my version of settle is above average. And I accepted that as good enough in a variety of areas, including and particularly my relationship with my body. And as I started to get more present in the other areas of my life and really step it up, and go beyond comparing myself to the average and being like, okay, well, I'm good because I'm not there. As I started to face that more and not make it about the average, but make it about how I wanted to feel and my personal best, then it spilled out into other things. So it started out doing that with my business about 1.5 years ago. And I've gotten such incredible results in that area and stepped it up significantly even in my parenting. We started unschooling our daughters, and in turn, they've stepped up their idea of personal best because they weren't any longer being compared to and also comparing themselves to average. And many of you know what I'm talking about because in a lot of areas in your own personal journey, you are far above average, but we kind of coast on that like, well, at least I'm not this, right? So I wanted to do that. And I knew that my relationship with my body through food was like the scariest place that I could start, because I'd already started doing it in a lot of the other areas. But this one was like, what? Give up curry chicken and give up, frosted flakes and stuff that I really loved. It was just like, that's not when I'm 40. That's when I'm going to do it. So I got curious about it. And as always, when you follow your curiosity, all these magical doors open up and you get to learn about yourself, and you get several opportunities to move the energy of excellence from potential into kinetic. And that's exactly what happened. This situation was no exception. I was on Instagram and I saw a hashtag 801010, right? 801010. And I was like, what's that? So I followed my curiosity. I clicked on it and I started to look at all the different 801010 posts. And those posts were mostly about food, and they were like just vegetables and fruits. And I was like, oh, I'm good. I left it alone, but it didn't leave me alone. So I continued to follow it. I found out about Dr. Graham, who wrote the 80-10-10 book. And I was like, So I told my mom about it, and she was interested as well. And, I started reading blogs about it, and she got the book and I read the book. And I felt like this was the scariest thing that I could do if I really wanted to face this fear of mediocrity head on. This is what I should do. So I did it. I decided that at the beginning of July, I would use the full month and fully commit to a fruitarian diet. So that's basically anything with seeds, fruit, some veggies, and a few nuts and seeds, that sort of thing. And it felt crazy, but I said I would do it. And 17 days in, I cannot believe how much this journey is not so much about food, but about what I'm calling a revolution of one. This shit feels hella radical. I feel expressed in a way that I've never felt before. And it's crazy because I am a person who practices radical self-expression. I teach it, being emotionally well, feeling how you want to feel, doing the things that make you feel the most like yourself. That is both my personal passion and my professional platform. So you can imagine how surprised I was and still am to recognize that I was muted in so many ways, specifically because of the relationship that I had with my body. So what it's giving me is a very keen sense of awareness of the chemical addiction that I have been dealing with. The foods that I thought that I loved and that made me feel a sense of comfort. I feel like this is the first time that I'm really getting to feel what food does when you have a relationship with nature and it feeds you and you value it. You get to live in a different space. I was talking to somebody about it, and I feel like, I don't know if you guys watch True Blood, but there's a point where the fairies, there's a portal that you can go into Fairytopia. I don't remember what it's called, but I feel like all this time I've been dancing around in the field like, oh, this field is awesome. And then all of a sudden I make a decision and I get pulled into Fairytopia where there's like purple unicorns and shit. And I don't have to worry about getting in my car because I could ride on a unicorn and have like fairy dust on my face. And it might sound crazy, but what it feels like is damn good. I feel alive in a way that I've never experienced before. And I imagine that people who are on a raw vegan journey can attest to this sort of thing, or just eating better, removing certain things from their diet, even if you're not raw vegan. And so I wanted to share that because I want you to consider the areas of your life where maybe you don't even realize that you're numb, that you're muted, that you are less than yourself, that these things that you've identified with as a part of what you love and a part of what you value, certain tastes, certain experiences, you may not be having the experience from an authentic space. Like it may not be the actual experience between you and the food or you and the thing. It might be the chemicals in the thing that are giving you the illusion of that. I hope that connects. I hope you get that, because it is the most alive feeling that I've had in a very long time. And I consider myself a very alive, very present person. I have a lot of joy and love and support around me. But in this way, I am supporting myself in a way that I'm really, really grateful for. I don't identify with the label of vegan or raw vegan or whatever, but in my day to day, what I identify with far more with calling myself anything is feeling how I want to feel. This is some top shelf shit. And, and I want to continue to feel like that. And I want you to consider that a revolution of one is never just about that one person. When you decide to evolve, when you commit to something and you embody it by acting in accordance with it, you are not only doing something wonderful for yourself, but you become an example of that level of commitment, and it inspires other people however it needs to inspire them. Not necessarily the way that it inspires you, but however it needs to inspire them. And I feel really good about that. And it's also physically changing my body. I weigh less than I weighed in high school. So I have to, on this particular type of diet, as in way of eating, not as in restriction, you have to be really cognizant of your caloric intake because you can lose a lot of weight. So I'm working on that. I'm working on eating. Like, I had a salad for dinner and it was in the camera cut off, so I had to start back up. So I had a salad for dinner and it was in this bowl. And then I also had a smoothie earlier today that I'm still trying to finish, that I made, and it's in this. So I'm needing to increase my calories so that I don't continue to lose weight. And I rely on the experiences of other people who've been on this journey to help me out with that. So I'm grateful for things like Instagram and blogs to just kind of see what other people are doing to shore up their resources in terms of their body. But this is really about the idea of a revolution of one. The idea that what you think you know and how you've been influenced aren't always one and the same. Or what you actually are capable of experiencing may be inhibited by the things that you're putting into your body. So this is not me saying, go vegan now. It's not about that. It's far more selfish, which happens to spill out in ways that are not selfish at all. It's the idea that you, however you're feeling now in your body, may be a very small percentage of how you can actually feel in your body if you cultivate a different relationship with plants. Like, as simple as that. I want to put things into my body that are built to nourish. I'm a part of nature. I understand that I'm a part of a greater thing. And in doing that, Creator has given us resources to sustain ourselves. And I'm learning in the very early stages of learning that my foods can be real foods. And for me, this idea of only eating things that are raw, uncooked foods, live foods, is teaching me so much more about myself than I could have ever imagined that it would teach me. So I don't know what you'll get from it, if anything, but I needed to share it because I need for you to consider what you're putting into your body, and consider that with all the craziness that's going on around us, sometimes we can feel so helpless, like, oh my God, what can I do? You can start a revolution of one. You can change your relationship with your body and with food, and you can get less numb so that you can be more present, so that you can be sharper, so you can be healthier, so you can be an example of wellness, and let that decision and your actions from that decision, just let it go out into the world and do whatever it needs to do. What it does is not your job. Your job is to just start doing that for yourself. So
if you are new to my channel, welcome. Hook around, see the different videos, catch a vibe. Subscribe if you want to follow me on this particular journey. Comment and let me know if you've been on or are curious about this type of journey yourself.